Hi, I'm Saddam and I'm one of the co-founders of Builderkit. So in this video, I'll give you a quick overview of how to run an interior design app locally and then deploy it in Vercel so that it can be available publicly. For that, let's go to the documentation provided by Builderkit first. Make sure that you have access to the GitHub repository of Builderkit, either it is a starter or pro. I will copy the command and open the terminal. Go to desktop directory since I want to use my store my project in desktop directory. I'll name the project as interior design, and once the project is downloaded, I'll run the command cd and then the app name that I have just provided to get inside the project. Run cd interior design. So I'll now run this git checkout interior design generator command to switch to the interior design branch in the Builderkit project. Now my project is connected with this Builderkit project in the GitHub repository. So I want to disconnect my project from Builderkit GitHub repository, and later I will connect it to my own GitHub repository. So for that, run this command. Now that I'm done with this, I'll close the terminal and open the project in VS Code. So I'll to follow the next step, I'll have to run npm install to run the required dependencies. After the required packages are installed, I will have to create a environment variable file. So I'll run this command. So it will by default populate the required variables. So you see there is an example, env example file. I'll run the command. It will create a .env.local with the required parameters. After this configuration of environment variable is done, I'll close it and do the rest of the processes. So first I have to set up this Superbase. For that, I will follow the documentation of Superbase setup. So I have already created a project named Builderkit demo in my Superbase. I'll go to the SQL editor and now I'll run this command to create a users table. I'll run this command to create a users table. If you go to the tables in Builderkit, you can find the users table. Now I will have to create an interior design table to run this application. So for that, again, I'll create a new query and run this SQL query to create a new table. Okay, now the Superbase setup is done. So I will have to sync the Superbase table to my local repository, local project. So for that, I'll run this command Superbase login, and it is asking me to hit enter to authenticate my project. So you can see this is authenticated. And next step, I have to run the following command yes, and after that I'll just have to add the project ID to sync the tables that we have just created. So you can get your project ID from the URL itself, or you can go to project settings. So hit enter, and once the Superbase tables are synced, you can find all of them here. Okay, now after all this setup, I'll just start the local server to test it out. Okay, now our project is running on localhost 3000. So let's run the app in locally. I'll click on get started and it will redirect me to login page since I'm not logged in yet. Now let's create a user. Okay. So once the registration is completed, it will send me a confirmation email. Just log in to my created email ID. So now I am able to access the dashboard. So now to test the app locally, we can't use it in the local host since it uses a webhook to get the response from replicate. As mentioned here, we have to create a ngrok tunneling for that. So I'll open terminal and I'll run ngrok http 3000. So now all my public URLs will be redirected to localhost 3000. For more update on how to create a public local webhook, you can just read the blogs here. You can just read the blogs in Builderkit here. Okay, let's do it now. So now I'll use the And now I'll test the application through ngrok. Okay. Now we can just upload something. Okay, now I have uploaded image architecture. Let's call it living room. Um, cool modern house and generate image. Now it will take few seconds to generate the images, and then once it receives the response from the replicate through webhook, the images will be available here. So as you can see, the outputs are available here. Now let's deploy the project on Vercel. So for that, we will again go to the documentation here, deployment documentation provided by Builderkit. So first we have to create a GitHub private GitHub repository for that. So I'll go to my github.com and create a new repository named interior design. Let's make it a private. So now I have to connect my GitHub repository to my project. So for that, let's close it and run this command. After that, I will follow the steps provided by GitHub and push the code. But before that, I just need to commit the changes. Once this is committed, you can also either click on publish branch or run this command to push the code in the GitHub. Okay, now that the project has been pushed to my GitHub repository, let's refresh this page. Project is live here. Okay, now in the next step, I need to create a Vercel and connect the application. So I already have a Vercel account, so I'll just create add new and add a project, and my newly added project is live here. So I'll just click on import, and here you can see the design project name is auto populated. Now I also have to add the environment variables here again. After entering the environment variables, just hit deploy button to and it will just build your project and deploy it publicly. Okay, so as you can see here, the project has been deployed and it is now publicly available. Let's click on continue to dashboard, and here you can see we have got a interior design, a temporary URL provided by Vercel. Now we also have to configure this URL in our Superbase to properly handle the authentication in this domain. So for that, let's go to the documentation again, and here you can see this configuration for redirect URL. So for that, we will have to go to authentication, URL configuration, and then click on, let's first add it in the site URL, save it, and then configure it like so. Add this in the redirect URL. Without doing this configuration for redirect URL in Superbase, your live project will not working during the authentication. But let's try it out now. Now I will click enter my user email and password that we have created locally, since it is the same database. And after login, as you can see here, I am logged in. I am able to access my dashboard of interior design application. Let's try out the testing once again. And here you can see the responses are available. You can modify the prompt to improve the response quality as well. So that's it. That is how you can run and deploy any kind of application provided by Builderkit. Thank you.